Hi, thanks for tuning in to Government Matters. I'm Meredith Barrica, the Town Council President, and today I'm joined by Braintree's Tim Carey, who wears so many hats serving our community. Tim, I'm so grateful you were able to join me today on Government Matters, and you have been serving our community both as a town councilor, a library trustee, and also as your work with South Shore Elder Services. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Meredith. Glad to be here.
I would love for you to start off, Tim, because I'm not sure everybody knows that South Shore Elder Services is based in Braintree, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about their mission and the work you do for them.
Of course, thank you. So South Shore Elder Services is headquartered in Braintree. We do service 10 other cities and towns, so we do have quite the catchment area that we serve, and we do a lot in Braintree for the residents. And although it says South Shore Elder Services, we do serve more than just the elderly population. We do a number of things for people under the age of 60, as well as we work with families. We offer what's called a family caregiver support program that involves the whole family, and they can help people of almost any age. We offer help with financial planning. We do a number of different things. So the mission of the agency is really to keep people independent, have their customized plans, so that we're going to make sure that what's going to work for them is truly what's in place for their care and their needs. So most of our consumers, as we call them, or customers, are at home, but it's not always the case. We can even discuss a program called the Ombudsman Program, and what that is that's an advocacy program where we have advocates who go into the facilities to advocate for the needs of the residents in those facilities, whether they're in the facility for a short term or a long term.
Wow, that is a lot, and I had no idea that you also offered programming for not seniors. So that is a really great service you're providing. Maybe you can talk about, I know a lot of people, and you probably do too, are caring for both their kids and also elderly parents. So maybe you can talk a little bit more about the caregiver support program you just mentioned and how that works for families and what people need to know.
Perfect, sure. So it is called the Family Caregiver Support Program. And if you're enrolled in that, you do have a dedicated contact person. That contact person is going to work with you or the family to figure out how to best accommodate the needs of that family. So whether it be that the individual who's providing the care at home might need some occasional respite and a chance to get out or to do something different, or information on upcoming webinars. There's a variety of different things that contact person can help facilitate, and to get services in place and to have a smooth transition to care in the home.
Sounds like it's really personalized too for each family and each individual, and it sounds like your team works on those.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it is individualized. We do have a variety of different options, but we're only going to put in the options that are going to be best suited for either the consumer or the consumer's family.
That's excellent. Now, are these programs that South Shore Elder Services offers, are they free? Do they cost anything? Are they insurance-based? How do residents pay for the services?
Excellent question. Most have a small cost sharing or co-payment involved, and that's all based on your income. If somebody can't afford that, then there's definitely some flexibilities in terms of we can work with you to bring down what that cost share or that co-payment would be. But there are also plenty of free programs because we offer those. One is called a Senior Care Options, and that's for people who are enrolled in Mass Health. So Mass Health is an insurance program to benefit some seniors, and there's no cost sharing involved in that if you're in the Senior Care Options program. Another program that is fantastic is the Meals on Wheels program.
Oh, right.
So we don't charge for that. That is a voluntary, optional co-payment or donation.
So for Meals on Wheels, let's talk about that a little bit, because I know how important that is for people. My husband's grandmother used Meals on Wheels for years, and it was truly, it allowed her to stay in her home for longer than she probably would have otherwise. So how do residents either get involved to volunteer for Meals on Wheels? And maybe you can talk a little bit about all the work that Meals on Wheels, it's almost its own sub-program, I think.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
There is a lot going on in a good way with the Meals on Wheels programs. I think we service maybe 1,700 people in the 11 different cities and towns that we serve.
And is it every day that they would get a meal?
We don't do weekends, but every weekday. They can also get meals on special occasions such as Christmas or Thanksgiving if they're going to be home and in need of a meal. The most common is the traditional meal, but we also have some special cardiac options, some Asian meals. So we do try to offer a variety of different meals. As you mentioned, we do have a number of different volunteers who go out and who drop off the meals every day, including in snowstorms and bad weather. So we're super grateful that they're doing the service to benefit people in our community. And it's a win-win because in many cases, this is the daily nourishment that people are getting. Either sometimes they can't afford it, sometimes it's just that extra to tide them over, but it's definitely something that a lot of the people who get the meals look forward to and enjoy.
And another touch point for people to have an interaction with someone else if they are unable to leave their own home.
Exactly, well said, definitely. Yeah. It's a check-in, so to speak, and oftentimes a very friendly, quick smile and hello and that interaction.
So are the meals made at South Shore Elder Services, or where are they coming from?
They are not made directly at South Shore Elder Services. We do farm it out to a vendor, and the vendor makes it in different kitchens in the area, and then they are picked up from the kitchens and the volunteers drop them off at the residents' homes.
That is great to know, and I very frequently hear from residents about wanting opportunities to volunteer, and here's a place that 1,700 meals a day takes a lot of people power to make that happen. So is South Shore Elder Services accepting volunteers all the time, or is there always room to grow? Or?
There is, thank you. Yeah. We have a woman in our office named Bridget Campbell, and she is our volunteer coordinator. So she can always be contacted at 781-848-3910. And Bridget will send out some information in terms of the different volunteer opportunities, not only Meals on Wheels, but also in the Volunteer Ombudsman Program. The majority of those, we service actually 26 cities and towns in their long-term care facilities. So we always need volunteers for that. We have 2 paid staff in that department, and the rest are all volunteers. That's amazing. What they do is they go in and they advocate for the residents in that facility. They might work with family members, but they're only going to go in and work with the residents if they get the residents' permission. So there is extensive training in that, and before a volunteer is certified to do that, they do have to undergo a comprehensive training offered from the state, and they have to be certified as a certified ombudsman volunteer.
Wow, that's incredible, and what a great service to provide. Those situations can be so stressful, and to have someone who knows what they're doing and doing it as a volunteer is a huge gift for families.
It absolutely is, and I do want to say that even with volunteering, whether it be with the meals or the ombudsman program, we are flexible in terms of when you can volunteer your time. As a volunteer ombudsman, you can pretty much select the day and the time that you go in the facility to help that resident. It's not that you have to be there every Tuesday at 12, so there is flexibility in that as well.
That is great, and I think that is a great segue. I know one of the things I wanted to make sure we talked about tonight is what are some of the most pressing issues that you feel seniors in Braintree are facing? There's so many variables, and I'd love to hear from you, like, what should we be focused on? What do people need to know that seniors are up against?
Sure, thanks. So I think the most common, or one of the most common issues facing residents, not only in Braintree, but all the cities and towns, is what people have referred to as the sandwich generation. So they're looking after their children and they're looking after their parents. And obviously that's a difficult task to do. So South Shore Elder Services can assist in not only the family caregiver support program, but it can also offer some respite services. I'm heavily involved in the home care program, and the home care program puts services in place for the seniors so they can stay independent in their homes, and they can help them with tasks such as homemaking, shopping, home health aid. So they are an extension of the family when the aides come in and can assist them with things. And that is going to allow the other family members to do other things that they have on their plate, including raising anybody else in their family.
That is a great point, and I also know how important it is for many people to not be moved into some kind of long-term care or nursing facility. So to be able to stay in your own home with support is a huge, huge help for families and for the individual.
Absolutely. It's really a win-win when they can be happy and independent in their own home. They're going to feel more happy, more productive, and grateful for that opportunity.
And what about any home modifications? Is that something that South Shore Elder Services does to help seniors make their homes more age-friendly?
There are different opportunities. For the specifics, I would just ask that you contact the agency, and they can go over your unique situation.
And again, like, what a great service to provide for residents so that you can have that one-on-one contact to make sure that you have what you need to thrive at any age.
Absolutely. I do want to stress, especially in the home care department, that anybody who is receiving services with the agency gets a dedicated case manager. And that case manager is going to be your daily point of contact. They're going to make sure that they're answering your calls, answering your emails, and making sure that they're getting you the right individualized services in place for you, so that they're not just going to say, here's what we offer, pick and choose. They're going to come out, do a comprehensive assessment, and they'll say, based on your needs and your wants, this is our recommendation, and we will put these services in place.
Truly individualized plan for each person. That's incredible.
It is. It's great.
I was doing a little research before our interview and came across the AARP has an age-friendly communities program. And I would love to hear from you about what are some ways that you think Braintree can do better, improve, or should continue doing to have Braintree be an age-friendly community.
Great question. So I know that the agency and the town both are veteran advocates, so I would recommend that they continue to do that. It would be great if Braintree could continue to work on progress such as walking paths or exercise routines. I know that a lot of communities do offer that, and I think that would be beneficial not only for seniors, but everybody in town. That is something that would be beneficial. And I think just anything we can do in terms of transportation. That's always a concern in most communities. I know that I live in the Highlands section, and the MBTA is limited in terms of what services or bus routes are out there. So if the town was able to do anything like that, that would be beneficial as well. I know the Braintree Council on Aging offers rides, but I think that if possible, more could be done.
Yeah, and offering people the flexibility through public transit or some kind of a shuttle service so that they don't have to call, and sometimes it's hard you want to have a little flexibility when you need to leave. I think those are awesome suggestions. And what I like to point out is age-friendly means any age. So having walking trails benefits little kids all the way up to seniors to be out in the fresh air and have easy ways to get around. Yeah, those are great suggestions. What do you think, or Tim, I would love to hear from you, like what are some of the services or benefits that maybe we haven't talked about yet that you want to make sure people are aware of, especially, like you said, for the sandwich generation or for residents who don't know about South Shore Elder Services yet?
Sure, great, thanks. So including in South Shore Elder Services, I mentioned it's not just for seniors. So we do have a program called the Options Counselors, and that's available to residents 18 to 59 to find out what options are available to assist them with community needs. So that is something that is very beneficial. A little bit underutilized, so that would be good for people to consider if they feel that they're sort of stuck or need assistance in navigating something. They can call and speak to our intake and referral department and talk to an options counselor and do some planning with them. I just mentioned the intake and referral department, and they're going to be that first point of contact. We have what's called a no wrong door policy, so that they're going to be able to answer any questions and help you navigate in terms of what the next step is. So that intake and referral department can also talk about other resources available within the community. They can also talk about what the agency does or possibly doesn't do, but they're really there to be that first point of contact to explain everything in greater detail.
That is incredible. What are some of the options with the options program that you just spoke about? Especially if I'm a 19-year-old, which I'm not. What would I be calling to ask about?
So it really depends on the individual needs. They do work with understanding mass health and insurance needs. That's a lot of it. They can also work on vocational programs.
Okay.
So it is all specific.
That is something I did not know about, and I will be happy to pass that along. I would also want to mention, again, as I was preparing for this interview, I want to let residents know that when we're talking about the Meals on Wheels program, if you can't volunteer your time, but you want to make a donation, the cost is really reasonable to provide meals for seniors. You can provide 5 meals, that's 1 week's worth of food, for under $30, and 1 meal for under $6. So if you think about going to a restaurant, you can't get a meal for $6,
Absolutely.
Under $6. And the services this provides for shut-ins is invaluable.
It is, it's great. Especially, as I mentioned, there are some extra bonus meals and some special meals for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we do try to spice up the meals and make them festive when we're able to do that. So any donation, whether it be to the meals program or the agency in general, would definitely be most welcome. And we also do a lot of work with the veterans. So it can also make an earmarked donation to the veterans if you wanted to do that as well.
And are you working in tandem with Braintree's Veterans Services program, or this is a separate service?
It is a separate service.
So even more for veterans and senior residents to learn about.
One of the members of our chief strategy officer, senior member of our team, is a veteran himself. He's a Marine, so he's really dedicated to making sure that we are outreaching and supporting the veterans.
That's excellent. And another service, Tim, I looked up and I would love to hear about is the Friendly Visitor Program.
Excellent.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about that and what it is and how people can get involved.
Sure, good question, thank you. So new information as of today, there's now a second component to the Friendly Visitor Program. The traditional program that's in full force right now, it's a volunteer program. So again, you can volunteer for that. If you are enrolled in the home care program, meaning that you're receiving home care services from South Shore Elder Services, and you feel that some occasional check-in or a conversation or some additional support would be beneficial, our volunteers can do what's called a Friendly Visitor Program. They can go out, they can check in with you, they can have discussions, and they can really make that personal connection. It's not just about if you're lonely, but it's about if you needed some additional support or if you just wanted company. So that has always been that if you're enrolled in the home care program, you can do that. And that was an in-person program. And that was a little limited during COVID, but we still offered some function of that. As of today, we're launching a new Friendly Visitor Program telephonically. So it is still being rolled out, but it's brand new that it doesn't have to be an in-person function. So if you wanted to volunteer, whether it be telephonically or in person, again, please call Bridget Campbell, and she can help set that up so that you can assist in that Friendly Visitor Program.
That's a great idea, because I know some people might not be comfortable with someone entering their home, but really would be helped by just a check-in over the phone. What a great addition to the program.
Thank you. And I do want to say that all our volunteers in any of the programs are all CORI checked. So we're definitely going to make sure that we're putting in somebody who's been verified. We'll also do any matches that we can in terms of if you don't want to smoke in your home, we'll make sure we're not sending a smoker in your home. If that volunteer is allergic to animals, we're not going to send them in a home that has animals.
That makes a lot of sense. What about for language access? Do you have any language services for Friendly Visitor or any of the other ones at this point?
So we do offer some translation services.
Yep.
So we have access to a translation line, and then there are some, but not a lot, of people who do speak different languages. So
another way to match people up
exactly.
if needed.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. I know it can be overwhelming when you don't speak the language and you're trying to find services.
Absolutely. But we will do our best to try to find that right person to translate for you, or at least use that translation line.
That's excellent. There's just so many things to know about the South Shore Elder Services program, and I'm so happy you came here today, Tim. Thank you so much.
Glad to.
Is there anything we didn't cover that I should have mentioned, or you would like to mention?
Sure. So I think when in doubt, call and we'll talk it over. I also want to point out that we also have a team of nurses who work at the agency. And they can do some clinical screenings to find out if you're enrolled in the right program, if you'd be eligible for additional services, if they can do screenings if you are interested in applying for Mass Health. So they can do a lot of the different screenings and determinations to see what your health status is and to make sure that you're getting the most out of the programs that you're eligible for.
Wow. Oh my gosh, the list just goes on and on. I know, thank you for bringing the services guide. So if residents want more information, they can pick one of these up or call or visit the website. And there's just a giant list of services on the back here. So please reach out, because this is I didn't know about this before I became a counselor, and I think it's an incredible service that the town has access to, and our residents have access to.
Absolutely, definitely, and I do want to stress that we do service 11 different cities and towns, and we are fortunate that Braintree is our headquarters.
Yes.
So that is great. One more opportunity, if you don't mind.
Please.
We have a program called SHINE, Serving Health Information for seniors, and that's if you want to figure out the best Medicare, possibly Medicaid coverage, you can call and ask for a SHINE appointment, and that SHINE person will navigate you to the best Medicare or Medicaid program for you. So sometimes open enrollment are going to be busier than others,
Yep.
but you should always call and ask about that if you're interested, or if you have questions about if that's the best program for you.
That is amazing, because navigating those healthcare options is daunting. And are those SHINE people also volunteers at your agency?
And they're trained from the state as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's incredible. Yeah. A wealth of services available. I am so grateful that you came in today and so excited to share this with the residents in our community.
I'm glad, and I just want to encourage everyone, if you do have any questions, please call and ask, and we'll be happy to answer those for you and connect you whenever we can.
Tim, give the number one more time,
Sure,
please.
Thanks. 781-848-3910, and you'll be connected to the intake and referral department, or any questions, just start there. Thank you.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm the council president, again, Meredith Barrica, and you're watching Government Matters, and we'll see you next time.